So I know there is a block box happening this weekend. I think it's for, I don't remember who. I know that this weekend they're having block walks.
All of our endorsed candidates are walking this weekend for sure.
Yeah,
We do have,
definitely.
yeah, for Paul Ridley, for Jesse Moreno. I'm trying to make sure that we send those out Thursday or Friday to make sure that everybody has those. But we could also, I do see Taylor, who could be recognized to provide the detail for a couple of the campaigns.
Yeah, I believe Jesse is walking, as well as probably all of our endorsed candidates. So definitely for volunteers, please go out to those if you can make it. There's always support of, going and block walking to help our endorsed candidates as well. Nothing really on membership on that side. So that'll be it for me.
Hey, thank you. Do want to recognize that you, as a part of the committee with membership, did put together a great new member packet that we're looking forward to making sure we continue and share and push out to new members with Stonewall Democrats of Dallas. With that, I will recognize Vonda Bailey-Shaw for a fundraising report.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. Before I start with my report, I first would like to recognize Keith Pomacall. Keith, we really love you. Let me just say that. Keith stepped up and contributed to cover the full page ad in the Dallas Voice, which we definitely appreciate. So I wanted to make sure before we moved on with anything else in my report that we first recognize Keith for his contribution, and not only for the full page ad, but just his continuous contribution to Stonewall. Thank you, Keith. From there, our event that is coming up, a fundraising event, of course, June 22nd. As you all know, our theme is Stonewall Over the Rainbow, and David Heflin created this amazing flyer. And if you notice, their board members are each of the characters here. Yeah, it's pretty neat. This was Susie's idea with the rainbow and the yellow brick road and everything like that. And David, with his amazing graphics, just brought it all to life. So this is the flyer that will go out. It will go out, I guess in the next couple of weeks, it'll go out. And this is for, like I said, the fundraiser that we'll be having on June 22nd. Our guest speaker for that particular fundraiser is going to be Jessica Gonzalez. As a matter of fact, I reached out to Jessica just to make sure that it was on her calendar. She hasn't yet reached back out to me, which is, not unusual considering how busy she is right now, but she will definitely be our guest speaker. So we're really excited about that. We haven't quite finalized what the actual donations amount will be per se, but we do have different prices for Stonewall members versus non-Stonewall members, as well as different levels to make a contribution as well, to get into our VIP session, which you all will find out more information about that later. And Joe Cannon, I will let him speak more about our idea in terms of a hybrid of a virtual and an in-person event on June 22nd. But great ideas coming your way. So you all stay tuned. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you very much, Vonda. As Vonda indicated, we're finalizing the details of the host committee and the overall contribution levels. We hope to have that finalized by Thursday of this week, and then we will be pushing out and most likely making calls to some of you to make your contributions in support of our June 22nd event. So please save the date with more detail to come. And with that, let me recognize Joe Cannon, our chair of the meetings committee. You're muted, Joe. You can't unmute. There you go.
Okay, there we go. What a great transition there, Vonda. So I'm excited about that event on the 22nd. But to speak more towards our next meeting, which will be our June general meeting on the 15th, we are so close to finalizing the details as to where we would be hosting this hybrid in-person / online event. You know, we are looking forward, you know, we were talking about this months ago, and here we are about 30 days away from having that first in-person meeting. Again, the finalized details as far as, like, you know, criteria for who can attend and the amount, we're still working just to narrow that down so that it can be as crystal clear as possible when we do make that transition. So be on the lookout on Facebook, through your emails, for that information. But without further ado, that's my report for meetings there.
Thank you, Joe, and just want to quickly recognize you for the work of going to many different venues and taking in thoughts from members and non-members about where we can host a hybrid meeting. And so Joe really took the ball and ran with it in terms of preparing us for a hybrid transition. And then the goal would be to move to a phase 3 in-person environment, depending on where we are with, you know, indications from government and so forth and elected officials as to what's safe. We're hoping that by September of the year that we'll be able to transition to in-person meetings. So we will obviously keep an eye on it, but hybrid is coming just around the corner. Final committee report will be by Chair Susie Hess of the Bylaws Committee.
And muting myself there. We have not had another Bylaws Committee meeting, but when the runoffs are concluded, we will pick that back up. So I see contributing members of the committee here on this call. Thank you again for all the work that you've already put into it. And we'll be in touch for potentially a Saturday midday meeting for the next meeting of the Bylaws Committee. So I will be back in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. That concludes committee reports, and so we will move now to announcements. I will clear out the quick announcements so that we could move and recognize Susie, who will assist with the opportunity for candidates for county chair to have an opportunity to address this body. The first is a recognition, and I believe we announced last month that we were instituting what we call a executive board member of the month. And so last month, we were very pleased to recognize David Heflin with the chair of the Communications Committee for all the work that he continues to do, but what he had done certainly up to that point of this year. And so for the month of May, we are very excited to take a moment and recognize Tanae Barker, who has stepped up in so many different ways, particularly on the membership committee, as I mentioned earlier, helping to develop a new membership packet. Which is just stunning, full of information and all you would ever need to know if you don't know much about Stonewall, its history, and how you can plug in. That document provides you all that you need to know to do it. It was her vision, and she marshaled the resources to be able to make it happen. And then also in the interim has stepped forward to be at least a part-time chair for the Volunteers Committee. And in some ways, she definitely needs some help. So if there's someone out there that wants to help Tanae with the Volunteers Committee, by all means, reach out to Tanae at stonewalldemocratsofdallas.org. But because of the work that she's taken on, we did want to recognize her for this month for the work that she's done. So please join me in a virtual applause for Tanae and the work that she has done. And just as a reminder, any of the board members of the month, the recognition that they receive here, in addition, they also get the opportunity to pick an item from the Stonewall virtual store. And so Tanae will have that opportunity to choose something, an item of her choice from the virtual store. And I would obviously be remiss if I didn't plug our virtual store as an opportunity for you all too, to wear that great Stonewall Democrats of Dallas swag if you haven't already ordered your hoodie, your short sleeve shirt, or even a mask while they're still in style. So by all means, check out our virtual store if you have not done so. The next meeting of the Stonewall Democrats of Dallas will be June 15th at 6:30 p.m. Again, that will be a hybrid meeting, so be looking for details related to that. The save the date, as you saw, for our fundraiser on June 22nd, Stonewall Over the Rainbow. More details to come, but roughly we're looking at from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So please mark your calendar now, and more detail to come. As always, I plug the DCDP's calendar with additional activities that are going on across the county. And so you have an opportunity to see what the other organizations are up to and other ways in which you can plug into party activity. So with that, I've cleared at least the announcements that are on the calendar. We can take additional announcements once we're done with the county chair recognition, but I do want to take this moment and recognize Susie Hess, our vice president, who assisted with the effort to help get our candidates for county chair here for this opportunity to address this body.
All right, thank you, President Todd Hill Jones. Really appreciate that. We are so delighted that 6 people have stepped up to run for county chair. I think healthy competition is only going to improve our party. And so what we'd like to do, guys, just as a reminder, we will not be taking questions from the floor, although there is pretty active chat window going on right now. So if there's something that is burning in your brain that you want to talk to these candidates about, put it in the chat. Privately, publicly, we always ask for your questions at admin@stonewalldemocratsofdallas.com prior to every meeting. And so there's always that opportunity as well. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and take a moment to first recognize, and I'll ask that because this is Stonewall Democrats of Dallas and we are an LGBTQ organization, if you could weave into your comments what your involvement is with the LGBTQ community, that would be helpful. And we also always like to introduce ourselves with pronouns. So that's voluntary, of course. You don't have to, but we certainly appreciate it when people do. That is a signal for those who are non-binary or gender non-conforming that they are welcome. And so I encourage each one of you to, take that forward with you, however you will. For myself personally, that is my email signature on my corporate email account. I include my pronouns. So without further ado, let's go ahead and call on the first person that I see is Annette Krause, who's running for Dallas County Democratic Party chair. Will Josh please unmute Annette Krause and spotlight her.
There we go. Spotlight her. Did I get this correct? We have 3 minutes. Is that correct?
3 minutes, please.
Okay. Okay. I'm Annette Krause, she, her, hers, longtime ally of Stonewall Democrats and a longtime activist and volunteer directly for the Dallas County Democratic Party. I was a young Democrat in the 90s, so I've been through a lot of Stonewall events. Little bit about me, I know a lot of you, but I've been an organized, ambitious community activist, but I've also bring 20 years of involvement, not in the Democratic Party, but a background in communications, marketing and public relations, which I feel that outreach and that ability and that communication skill is really important to this position. I was inspired to run, and I have so many details I'd like to talk about. Please call me anytime at 214-507-1283 and voice your concerns. I want to hear them. But I was inspired to run, and I'll be perfectly straightforward, because of lack of productivity from our county party in the last few years regarding our precinct chairs, and the tools to expand our voter database and our volunteers, and the lack of tools to give to those precinct chairs so that they can meet voters in their residence, build their relationships in their community, particularly in those areas that feel disconnected, disenfranchised, and just not inspired. I drafted an email that was all about family, our Democratic family, and we have got, I've been down there registering voters at Cedar Springs with DCDP, and those are the activities that get us as Democrats in the community and get people involved. I was hoping Stonewall maybe received some volunteers out of that. I'm not sure, but that was kind of a part of the intent as well. Because we did that in conjunction with this group. But the fact that we have so many people who feel disconnected, especially in the southern sector, we have got to improve that outreach and bring everyone together. I've been talking to people in the southern sector. I've been talking about how we can increase our fundraising. I helped form the Texas Democrat Small Business Caucus, and I want to reach out to Black-owned small businesses, Hispanic small businesses. I've knocked on doors, handing out my Texas Democrats card down on Cedar Springs and the Oak Lawn area to try to let small businesses know Democrats are here. That's a whole nother revenue stream, a whole nother piece of volunteerism and voting power that we can have in this county. We need to bring back our youth program. We do not have enough youth in this county. I've been working on ways to do that. I'm chair of the Precinct Chair Matters Committee. I want to encourage any precinct chair to drop by the county office, provide your time. That's what sets me apart, I think, from other candidates. If I have an hour, I've knocked on that door and asked what help is needed. But that's the intensity that we need in our local county party. And I think we need a chair that can pull everyone together, have more field organizing, short-term goals, and a 5-year long-term plan with set goals using data outside of the coordinated campaign. We've got it together during the coordinated campaign. Let's do it in the off years, although we're never off, right? I've been doing that on Precinct Chair Matters. If you want to volunteer, please show up. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Annette Krause. Really appreciate that. All right, going in alphabetical order by first name, may we have Candace Quarles, former City Council member of DeSoto. Josh, we'll unmute you and then I will spotlight you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Candace Quarles, and I'm a former DeSoto City Council member. My last day on the City Council was May 10th, and immediately the next morning, I announced my candidacy for this position. I want to thank Stonewall Democrats for allowing us some time on your agenda to let us share a little bit about what we plan to do and a little bit about us. Like you said, I'm a 2-term City Council member, elected in 2016, re-elected unopposed in 2018. I have been working. I haven't been on the ballot since 2016, but you couldn't tell because I have been out there for every local election, every midterm, every bond election, every small election to get people excited about why we need to make sure that Democrats are actually in charge of Texas and running Texas. So as we said, we have a short amount of time. So I want to plug that we're going to have a precinct chair town hall tomorrow, specifically for the chairs, where I can share more about the things I plan to do. But I've been listening and I've been hearing that transparency, financials, bylaws, some of the things that need to be addressed. I want to feel a sense of camaraderie, right? The enemy is not against all of us and the 6 of us. The enemy is the Republicans, and they have been relentless in their pursuit of making sure that particularly folks that need to have a voice and that need to be represented have not felt that. And then making sure that our party is inclusive of everyone. I've talked to different precinct chairs and especially folks south of I-30. We do not feel always that we're being represented in the Dallas County Democratic Party. That's why I think I'm the best candidate to run and represent all Dallas County, making sure everyone is heard and seen, and not just lip service about inclusion and diversity. Do people actually feel like they have a voice, and can they have access to the chair? I want to make sure all minority groups are represented in the leadership. And I would also want to make sure that people have a real choice. Are we letting our neighbors know, the folks that are engaged in the Democratic Party, the people first policies that we advocate and the hurtful policies that they have been putting in place? Things like minimum wage campaigns, paid sick leave, the HERO ordinance, and SB 14, those things I have spoken out against as they try to take away local rights. And as a city council person, I put things in place to make sure that when I implemented paid family leave, that moms, dads, same-sex partners have access to that same benefit. So I think we need better representation. It's one Dallas County. We have one enemy, it's them. and our true strength shows when we're all together. So this is a big tent party, and I would everyone to make sure that they feel included. Again, Candace Quarles for Dallas County Democratic Party Chair. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. You're in under the 3 minutes. All right, so our next candidate is Francis Rizzo, a longtime community activist and precinct chair, and served in many different roles. Francis, if you will.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to be with you. There's so many of my friends in the audience, and I thank you all for tuning in. There are a lot of reasons why I decided to file to run for the Dallas County Democratic Party chairwoman, and it's mostly because other precinct chairs called me and kept pressing me to join. I kept saying no. There are a lot of good quality people. I'm not sure that that's the right thing for me to do, because I'm not interested in running for a full term. And generally people that file for interim positions like this one are there because they want to run for the full term. I am not. I am committed to strengthening the party in a lot of different ways. There are a lot of different ways that we can do things, build on what the successes are of the past, because we are a good party. Dallas County is blue, and we're recognized for that. So we have a lot of good things going on, and we need to continue building that. Sometimes when we have interim positions, they're only used as a stepping stone. And I'm not accusing anyone in particular, and I'm not criticizing any candidate. I'm just saying that that's a lot of the typical practices that go on. I simply want to keep the party strong. I have no intentions of running for the full term in the primary of 2022. I want to bring as many people together as wish to. As human beings, we're not perfect. And there are a lot of long-time negative feelings among some people and some groups. And you cannot make everybody happy, but you can throw a bigger circle. You can, instead of just having a circle that only the people that inside the circle are included, that we actually open up our arms and get rid of the circle and open it up. I am bilingual. I'm a native Dallasite. I grew up in West Dallas and Little Mexico, and I have lived in Oak Cliff. I've lived in North Dallas because my sons and my daughter were being bused to North Dallas schools from West Dallas, and my boys, because they were athletes, they just wanted to move there. So we did, and once they graduated, then we moved back to the southern side of the world. And so I have been precinct chair in West Dallas, I've been precinct chair in Oak Cliff, and I'm precinct chair now in Duncanville, wherever I am. I'm a lifetime activist. The first political campaign I participated in, I was 16. And way back then, and yes, I admit my age, you had to be 21 to vote. So I had to wait until I was 21 to cast my first vote. And I have been registering people to vote ever since then. I lost count a long time ago how many people I've voted. I have even been through the ups and downs of people saying, when I saw that they were off the rolls, why did you not vote? You're no longer registered. They said, well, we don't like being called to serve on jury duty. And as soon as you registered me to vote, I got called to jury duty. Well, that was an obstacle. That was a voter suppression. It was to discourage people from wanting to be on the voter rolls. We have a lot of voter suppression continuing to come back after we've already won those battles. And it's because we started falling asleep. We need to maintain the strength of the party. We need to build as much unity as we possibly can, invite everybody that we can that wants to be in it, and recruit more concentrated effort in filling the open seats and precinct chairs. That is the foundation of the party.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you.
So appreciate that. All right. Next in alphabetical order by first name is Christy Noble, who is chair of the Feds. And I'm showing a timer just in case people want to see that. So, are you ready, Christy? There you go.
I think I'm ready to go. Hey, y'all. She, her, hers. I'm Christy Noble, and I'm a member of Stonewall Democrats, and I'm also a member of the LGBTQI community. I'm running for Dallas County Chair. I want to create a radically inclusive organization built on trust, communication, and collaboration, with the main mission of getting out every single Democratic vote in Dallas County. If we can do that, then we can do our part for flipping some statewide seats in Texas and begin to turn Texas blue. And actually not begin, build on what we've done so far. As Susie mentioned, I'm co-founder and leader of the Funky East Dallas Democrats. A few stats on that. We went from 30 folks in 2017 to over 4,500 under my leadership. That tells you that I can get people excited, I can get people to join, and I can get people to volunteer. I think that's what we need to do to build a community that's diverse, excited, and ready to work to get out the vote. In 2020, we worked with other groups in the area to get out, to hit 200,000 doors in Dallas County with over 900 volunteers. So that just shows you that I'm organized. I put in repeatable processes for a living. I build organizations. I've created a small software company that I run out of my home for 15 years. It's at a point now where someone else kind of has taken it over, and I just tap it back into place, like keeping the bowling ball out of the gutter. What that means is that this will be my major responsibility, my full-time focus will be to Dallas County Chair. I believe that the precinct chairs are the foundational role of any party. As Annette said, we have to really make sure that we give them every single resource that they need. My plan is to take precinct chairs and group them up into pods and listen to what those different pods around the county need. And my job would be to create a program with the team of diverse people and figure out a way to get that funded. Speaking of funding, there's funding within Dallas County and there's funding outside of Dallas County that isn't coming to the party right now. What we need to do is create a plan. That's what I do for a living, that we're going to put in place and present to donors who don't donate right now to the party, but donate outside the party, and donors outside of the state that want Texas to turn blue. I am the right person for this job. I'm excited for this job. And everybody's going to be saying the same things. It's going to come down to who you think wants it more and who you think can do the best job. So please vote for me, precinct chairs. I want to be your Dallas County Democratic Chair.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next in line is Millie Dominiche, and she is currently serving as the parliamentarian of the Dallas County Democratic Party. Let's please spotlight Millie. Thank you so much. And you are now unmuted.
Hi, everyone. My name is Millie Dominech. As many of you know, my pronouns are she and her. I've been a member of Stonewall Democrats for a couple of years now. I've been very active in going back to college. I've been very active in gay rights, women's rights. My background is in employment law, litigation. I am a advocate, I am a mediator, and I think I have the tools necessary to bring the party together. I have done that in previous organizations. I've done that professionally as a lawyer. I've also been a Democrat for over 30 years. So I've been involved in everything from presidential campaigns. My first campaign was walking for Bill Clinton when I was a college Democrat at Georgetown University. I've been involved in Senate campaigns, DISD campaigns here in Dallas, city council campaigns. So I've been very involved in the Democratic Party. I've also been involved in DCDP for the last several years. I'm the rules chair for the party. I'm a member of the community council and a member of the finance committee. I'm also was born and raised in New York, so I am Afro-Latina. I am bilingual. Oftentimes when I've worked on campaigns, I am the only person that speaks Spanish that's a big problem, right? As Democrats, we need to reach out to the Black and Latino communities. And how do we do that if nobody's speaking their language? Nobody is speaking their culture. So we need somebody who can do that, who can activate those communities. It's crazy that in 2021, we have never had a party chair who is Black or Latino. And we really need to start, walking the walk, so to speak, and having action and showing that we are a diverse party. Now, in terms of my plans for the party, if you go to my website, Dallas County Together, I do have a 7-point plan. It talks about being independent. I'm not connected to any faction, so I'm an independent thinker. My focus is going to be on getting Democrats elected, recruited, training. We need to train our precinct chairs. We need to train candidates. We need to build a bench. The Republicans are really good at that. We're not. I would also put in a strategic plan, a 2-year strategic plan with fundraising goals, goals for recruiting precinct chairs. And we don't have that right now. It would also include a budget approved by the precinct chairs. We need that, and we don't currently have that. The donors want that. The precinct chairs want that. As party chair, I would listen to our precinct chairs. Additionally, we definitely need to have an apartment program. We have about 50% of people in Dallas who are renters. Often they are ignored. That's a big chunk of, a lot of them are Democrats. They're Black, Latino, they're young, fresh out of college. We need to include them in the party. We need to get them registered, and we need to get them engaged and voting. And that'll really bring up the numbers in Dallas County. Thank you. Go to my website, dallascountytogether.com. And I'd love to answer any questions you have, either after dark, offline, wherever. I'm easily reachable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I'm looking for Shayan Alahi, who had said that he would be joining us. Shayan, if you're here, please go ahead and raise your hand so that we can quickly find you.
I don't see him in the chat, Susie.
No, I don't see him at all.
All right. Well, unless he arrives in the next minute or so, then we will just go ahead and conclude this portion. Again, I want to say I'm so appreciative of the fact that we have so many incredibly strong candidates, all with their own unique perspectives on Dallas County Chair. I think we can't go wrong. I am remaining neutral. I want to see another forum or two. And we have many, many precinct chairs here. If you are a precinct chair and you'd like to rename yourself with your precinct number, I think that would be very helpful for the candidates here to see that. So some of our candidates are already precinct chairs. I see Jennifer Farmer, my friend from Sunnyvale. I see Hathani Burton, Erica Cole from Little Forest Hills, David Bradley obviously is a precinct chair, Benedict Parks, who's also serving on our finance committee. Just a number of people here. Omar Jimenez is precinct chair. Vinton Hill Jones.
And Susie, I would just also note for our candidates, first and foremost, thanks for being with us this evening, but also there are some questions that have been posted in the chat. So I would encourage you to either answer those and or reach out to those folks who did ask the question. And then as noted earlier in the presentation of the agenda, excuse me, we will be having After Dark, Stonewall After Dark, and encourage the candidates to stay behind and be able to mix and mingle with our members during that period of time. This was never structured to be a forum. We wanted to make sure that the candidates did have an opportunity to address this body. Any other precinct chairs that we missed, Susie? I did want to recognize, I saw Constable Michael Orozco, Judge Eric Moye, who has also joined us this evening. Former Judge Ginsburg, I saw you, Carl. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I also do want to take a moment and quickly recognize we do have a couple of the candidates that we've endorsed in the runoffs. We have Jesse Moreno, I'm not sure if Jesse's in a position to be recognized, but I will ask him to unmute, and if he wishes to address this body, he can do so.
Hey, Todd, can y'all hear me? Hi, Jesse Moreno here. Thank you guys for the opportunity. As you know, we did make it into the runoff. We did come in first place, and am supported by Raha, who came in behind us. Just want to invite everyone to join us this Saturday at 2 p.m. I think Josh shared the details about block walking. My opponent, Sana, has a lot of block walkers out there canvassing neighborhoods. So even though we did come in first place, we really need volunteers to come out and get engaged and help us block walk. I'll put more information on the chat box, but just thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Jesse. I will see you this weekend. I'm planning to block walk for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. And then I do want to recognize Paul Ridley, who is our endorsed candidate for D14. Paul, if you're available.
Yes, good evening.
All right.
Thanks so much for acknowledging me. And I am also in the pleasant position of having outscored the incumbent in the initial election by 14 points. But we cannot relax. In fact, the third candidate in the race has endorsed my opponent, and I'm not quite sure what impact that's going to have. But it's obviously an effort to combine the vote totals of the two to come out on top. And so I appreciate anyone from Stonewall who can come out and block walk. We will be block walking again this weekend. I want to recognize Cannon Brown for coming out to block walk for us on this past Saturday. I appreciate that very much. And anyone else who would like to come out, we will be putting on my Facebook page the location for our block walk meets on Saturday and Sunday, 10 o'clock Saturday, 12:30 on Sunday, and appreciate anyone who can spare us a few hours.
Well, thank you very much. Look forward to block walking with you again as well. Did I miss anybody, Susie, in the chat that we should be recognizing? Sometimes I always scroll a little too quick.
We have a number of precinct chairs that I have not recognized already, and I think Jan Bridges is precinct chair. I'm just scrolling through very quickly here. So if I miss you, feel free to raise your hand.
Are there any further announcements from the floor before we adjourn to After Dark? I see, Francis, do you have your hand up?
She's the precinct chair.
Okay.
As is Christy Noble, Millie Dominique, Annette Krause,
All right, just one moment.
Natalia Efros, precinct chair. The
Hi,
precinct
Francis.
chair of
Francis,
Yes,
did you want to be recognized?
Yes, if I may, my apologies. I'm having technical difficulties on my laptop, so I'm having to tune in with you on my cell phone, and the screen is too small. I've not been able to really read the chat. So if there were some questions in the chat that may have been addressed to me, I would be happy to talk about them. I just don't see them. My screen is too small. I've already replaced my laptop, but it's just not set up yet.
Got it. Well, we will be adjourning to After Dark, and that'll be the opportunity to have that type of conversation with some of the members that hang behind. Thank you.
Todd, former State Representative Terry Hodge is with us. She's a long-term Stonewall member as well.
Absolutely. Welcome, Terry Hodge. Martin Sines.
Yes, sir. I'm also a precinct chair, and I also want to make one little announcement that on Friday at noon, the Young Latino Democrats and the Dallas County Democratic Party is hosting a forum via Zoom.
Okay, great. If you have information that you can post in the chat, that would be great as well.
Yeah, I'll get it from the Zoom link.
Perfect.
Todd, Brandon was going to speak on that as well.
Okay.
As program director for the county party.
Brandon,
I'll go.
Brandon, I recognize you if you want to add any commentary.
Actually, Martin did great. That's what I was going to speak of. I'm pulling up the link now. And so as soon as I get that, I'll drop it in there as well if anyone has not. And great job.
Thanks, Brandon. Jan Bridges.
Yes, hello, everyone.
Good evening.
I was wondering if maybe we could use the after hours as a question and answer period for the candidates. Could we do that?
Yes, that's what we planned on.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was just a suggestion.
We're not going to stay past midnight.
No,
stay past
no,
midnight.
like
We've
20,
done that
20
before.
minutes or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the caveat, of course, is this, it's not a structured forum that the Stonewall Democrats of Dallas is hosting, but we did ask that the candidates stay behind
Oh, okay.
and address any questions.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you, Jan. Apologies, my voice seems to be giving out. I see Hassani Burton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, everybody. As many of you probably already know from this announcement from other groups, but I was asked and accepted to lead the charge to write new bylaws and standing rule, or new bylaws for the Dallas County Democratic Party and standing rules for our CEC meetings. I take this very, very seriously as a Democrat in this process, and I am making sure to plan out a process that will be very inclusive. And since Stonewall has such a prominent and long history in Democratic politics in the county, I will be looking to this organization, its members, its leaders, both past and present, to engage in this process that'll be putting together the goal is to have a draft by the end of the year. So if I hit you up, reach out to you or whatever, asking some questions or seeing if you're willing to be on the committee that I'll be asking for, or just ask for your expertise and from your background. I look forward to having conversations with you, and thank you very much.
Very much, Hassani. Your expert, probably more than anyone here, would be Susie, who's been helping to lead that effort on our side. And we have two more recognitions here. Annette Crossy. There you go. You're up, Annette.
Oh, are we at After Dark?
Oh, no, not yet. I
was answering a question. I was answering a personal, I'm sorry. I was answering a personal question on.
Got it. Okay.
On the chat.
Well, hold that thought and we'll come, After Dark is coming up.
Okay.
All right. Sean Brewster.
Good evening, everyone. So happy to be with you all. This is an exciting time.
John, we're happy to have you and glad you could be here with us. And with that, the only other recognition, as I was scrolling through participants, I did want to take a moment, of course, and recognize our former president, Jay Neri, and also Texas Stonewall Democrats president, and then also, of course, our most recent president, Brandon Vance, who I did not recognize a little bit earlier. And then, of course, our current president, and I think he's still with us, Jeff Strader. He may have had to drop off, but Jeff, of course, is doing a great job as the president of the Texas Stonewall Caucus. If there are no further announcements, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to After Dark.
One moment, I do have one announcement that we would like to make, and we will be requesting people's participation. Stonewall, speaking of Texas Stonewall Democratic Caucus, this is a really important caucus that is very, very active and important at the Texas Democratic conventions, state conventions. So we want to be sure that everyone here who is a member of Stonewall Democrats of Dallas is fine with us sharing their contact information with the Texas Stonewall Democratic Caucus. By us paying dues to the Texas Stonewall Democratic Caucus, that includes your membership as an active Stonewall participant here in the statewide caucus. We have not shared your email contact information with them at this point. So we will be asking people to voluntarily approve that. We will have a formal process for that. I just wanted to be sure that you were aware that that is an important opportunity for each and every one of us who is a Stonewall active member in good standing.
Thank you very much, Susie. All right. I think I saw not only the motion, but was seconded by a few folks. So I think we will hereby adjourn. Well, I've still got a little bit of voice to adjourn us at this point.
So moved if you haven't already heard that said.
Excellent. All right, well, we are officially adjourned, which means the actual meeting itself is concluded. After Dark is proceeding here at this point. Again, recognizing that this is not a sanctioned or formal forum for the county chair candidates. This is just an opportunity, of course, to be able to have conversation. So with that, After Dark commences.